is Freeloaders. I'm Mike Papa Foxtrot.
And I'm 3T.
Freeloaders is a regular look at what is or has been free to download from the PlayStation Network. We download the games and give them a play and see if they're worth the download, bandwidth and time.
This time we're looking at Injustice 2, a fighting game based on DC Comics characters and a sequel to 2013's Injustice Gods Among Us. Developed by NetherRealm Studios and published by Warner Bros. Interactive Entertainment, it was initially released in May 2017. A prequel comic book of the same name was also released beginning in April 2017, and these are our first impressions, although not of the comic book. You said to me, actually, before we started recording, I don't know, can I quote you directly? I could do something like, I've got no idea what's going on in this game.
No, I haven't got a clue. I didn't even know it was a fighting game, if I'm absolutely honest.
Okay.
I thought that what you had got me into, I mean, you did tell me it was a fighting game, and that's the only reason I know it was a fighting game, but from first impressions, I thought it was going to be one of those open world superhero kind of
that might have
maps.
been more interesting.
And I thought that because we played one of those once. We went into DC. Was it DC Online?
It is DC Online.
Yeah.
And my experience with that was always that it took about an hour before it loaded anything up, to the point that I usually used to give up. But once you got into it, it was an okay kind of grinding XP system.
Yeah.
And the more friends you brought along, the better.
I think I got a bit bored with it, but
It was dull in a long term, but for 10 minutes or so, it was quite good fun.
But just sitting here setting up, I've seen a few of the demo fights that keep playing. Why the screen can't just be a nice static, quiet old man, Batman standing looking at you instead of the noise. It appears to be pretty much a button mashing fighting game.
Yeah, that's all it is. I've never played it, but it looks very Mortal Kombat. It looks like a nerfed Mortal Kombat with characters that you go, oh, I know them.
I was going to say that, right? And I decided not to go there.
We all know what to expect. It's your Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, Tekken type thing, but it's not pretending to be anything more than a 2D fighter. There's a bit of background interaction from the demos. We can't avoid watching demos, so looks like you can throw characters into the background or something happens. But overall, mash, punch. Pretend to look like you've got some kind of strategy. Whine about 12-year-olds winning every time if you play online.
Okay, well, I mean, that kind of thing. I mean, the thing is, the pickings were a little bit light. I can't remember because the one I was quite interested in was the Super Hot game, but then I knew too much about that. That was that quick time, bullet time kind of thing. But even that was from, I think, like 10 years ago when I first saw it. So, and this is from 2017. So a lot of older games, isn't it?
I was quite surprised when I read that, when I wrote that and added it to the list. I was quite surprised that it was that long ago, because I suppose the pandemic stole 2 years from us, but it did feel like Injustice was much more recent than that. So yeah, this is an interesting game to give away, not to give away, but to add to our monthly subscription.
You don't think the numbering system is using the Crash Bandicoot system?
I don't think there's been more than 2. I might be wrong, but the Crash Bandicoot system, for anybody who hasn't watched our Crash Bandicoot episode, is where you roll, you use one of those bingo callers, and you you pull out a random number, and you say, "This is the number of the game we're making this time."
Yeah, and it's almost like if they used the days of the week, Wednesday would always precede Monday.
Yeah,
and in the same week.
Exactly.
Anyway, shall we?
Yes, let's see what happens.
Shall we jump into this and see what's going on?
I'm currently watching a demo, so I'm going to press any button first.
Well, I'm pushing any button now, and I've gone back to the Batman, and it says updating game data.
Yeah, I've got.
And then, of course, it wants me to sign away my life, so I'll just accept it.
Yeah. Can't do much else, can we?
No, because if we say no, I'm just going to turn the gamma up a little bit, just because that's always pretty.
I don't think I care enough. I'm just going to press continue. If the game impresses me, I'll come back and look at the look at the graphics.
It wants to know. It wants to know what my audio setup is, it isn't offering headphones. It's offering
speaker.
mid-size home theater. Oh, controller speaker. Yeah, okay. Oh, I see. So it's got different ones. I'm going through. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know. Mid-size will do.
Do we go for a single player, or do we just go straight into trying to play online? Because that is the crux of playing a game like this. Nobody's really playing it to emulate the experience of chucking coins into an arcade machine for hours. You want to play against people, right?
Yes, absolutely. And that's the way it goes. So the question is, who's going to set it up, you or me?
Well, let's race. I'm going to go to online and see what it does, and we'll see how easy it is. That is the first impression test.
I'm going to multiplayer versus locally with friends, battle simulator. No, okay, I've fallen at the first fence. This is all local stuff.
Okay. Private match.
Yes, okay. We divided and conquered correctly there.
I just think that is the real test of a game like this. We're not going to learn anything new about how these games work, or it's not going to do anything mind-blowing, but how easy is it to jump in and play against somebody that you already know? Because I don't want to play against... I used to play Street Fighter 5, and I don't need to cry anymore. I'd rather play against somebody I already know, so that they've already heard me cry. I don't need a strange child to upset me any more than they already do. Let's see if you had an invite at all.
I did have an invite. I had to drop out of the thingy. I was looking at all of the menu things, but I didn't get that many. So joining a match versus private match, party audio prioritized is what the PlayStation is.
Here we go. Wins and losses rounds. That's all very nice. But how do we? Okay, so hopefully we're going to have some kind of.
Didn't even get to customize my character.
So let's see how many. Out of interest, though, how many of these characters do you recognise? Let's start top left and see how many that you know.
Top left. You mean with mine or yours?
You follow through yours because
okay, I see. Okay, well, there's a green sludge man. Isn't that the? Hang on, he's from The Thing, isn't he?
Oh, no, close. He's got Thing in his name.
He's yeah.
What he's made of is the first word. Actually, the names are at the top. I don't know what we're even joking.
Oh, Swamp Thing. Yeah, okay.
Oh, no, the game's ruined.
Oh, no. I was going to say, because I was actually quite nice, because I was thinking the next one is Cyborg. I know him. Catwoman, I was going to guess, and obviously Flash is obviously there.
My old man reading skills have just been shown up horribly. Okay, so we know their names Harley then. Quinn. Game over.
Yeah, okay, Batman. And okay, that's a shame.
Hell have they done to Joker? I didn't choose that. Did we just get timed out?
I think we just got timed out.
Oh, I hate that already. I hope that's a setting you can turn off. Okay, well, Joker versus Black Adam then. That's very timely. There's a movie, isn't there? Black Adam film out at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. I hate the emo Joker. That's an awful look. I hope there's different costumes for these guys.
Would you settle for a
yeah, the thing is, I like the sort of the cartoony type Joker, the actual the original from the original Batman. I think I prefer him than the original. The original Batman. Than I think
the sort of 1990s.
Yeah, I like that sort of I like the Penguin kind of thing. The Joker's a little bit of a cheating bugger. He's got a gun. He keeps shooting me with a gun.
Well, technically, your character is a god, essentially. So there must be some kind of... I think there's a storyline. I've never read the comics, but I think there's something in the story that must even them all out a bit. Otherwise, a fighting game doesn't work, does it? Because Black Adam, Shazam, and Superman could just crush the Joker's head very easily.
Well, yeah. I mean, unless of course he forgets his forgets who he is.
I wish I wasn't only using the gun, because I think that's rubbish. I'm just mashing buttons like you were saying.
Oh yeah, well that's what I'm doing.
Find some other moves. That appears to be the only thing I can do with him. Oh, now I'm dead. So it's not keeping track of rounds, it's just keeping track of... What's it... How's it scoring? There's another... I see, we get 2 bars.
Oh, I just found a nice move.
All I'm doing is shooting and laughing.
I think I just took your head off.
Do we know what any of these buttons do?
I don't know how to counter. I don't know how to counter your gun.
I don't know what to do. All I'm doing is pulling back, shooting, jumping. I don't need to. That's pointless. What's this do? What the hell is that?
I'm trying to counter your gun. Is what I'm
I've
trying
just
to
got
do.
a trophy. Okay, this is not going to go well for me.
Oh, I don't know. I'm not doing very well.
It shouldn't go well,
that's
though,
nice.
because Black Adam should be able to just completely destroy the Joker in real life.
Black Adam wins.
Oh, don't ask me how I did that.
So I'm tempted to
I have mashed all of the buttons, and I sort of have connected various actions to various buttons randomly.
First blood to you, sir. Well done. I'd like to know if there's a how do you look at the moves option. I've gone to select a new fighter. I don't know if we both need to or not.
I have no idea. Let's go.
It looks like we have to. You have to agree. That's crap, isn't it? What's the point in having a lobby if you can't control and take the other person with you?
Oh, I don't know. That's the modern world, isn't it? Okay. I need something. What's that? Oh, Captain Cold. Why did I think he was called Mr. Freeze? Anyway,
Can we change the? Yeah, Captain Cold is a Flash villain. Mr. Freeze is a Batman villain. They're technically different.
I know. It's funny. It's like it's just.
How do you change their costumes? I'm just going to be the Gorilla. We'll be two Flash villains. I'll be Grodd.
Oh.
Captain Cold.
You can use your freezy gun. I'll use my mind power thing.
Fighters approaching Red Sun Prison.
Okay.
Change starting arena. I don't know. Let's just have some variety for the video.
It looks like I can actually change things as well.
Yeah, it's a vote system.
I wonder if I started this up last time by mistake.
Oh, maybe. Well, we can test
Because
that.
I don't know. I didn't see an option there, but I'm just wondering. Did we get timed out? Let's wait next time and see if we can get timed out. I don't really need exposition here. I just want to start a fight. Come on.
I was going to say it's reasonably nice that they've recognised each other as Flash villains and they're having a conversation about taking out the Flash instead. So there is that interactivity, which I think the Mortal Kombat games have as well now. They recognise the characters and they'll have a little snarky conversation. But it's interesting once, but you don't want to see it every time.
No.
Right, there's a throw.
Oh dear.
Okay. Don't know how I did it, but it happened.
I haven't worked out how to use my gun yet.
Any idea what any of the buttons do?
Oh, there we go. I've worked it out. I just can't shoot you.
Got another trophy for something. It's giving them away like their Halloween candies, appropriately.
Yes.
I'd like to
I
grab
can't
you
use
again.
my gun. I'm very annoyed. I can't use my gun.
Right, so the shoulder buttons don't seem to do anything.
Well, no, they do. They sort of do, but they don't. On some of the characters, they do, because on Black Adam, my shoulder button was doing something.
Do I have to press them both? I see, again, I'm just spamming the same moves, which I don't want to do. All the Joker could do was pull his gun out and laugh, and I'd like to at least...
Well, at least the Joker could use his gun. This guy can't.
I don't even know what's happening. Just randomly pressing a few of the buttons is boring. There we go.
I found a gun.
Me.
Found a gun.
I can't move. Oh, there we go.
There you go.
So, top buttons seem to be more powerful attacks, I guess. Ooh, you're doing some kind of
What have I
special
done?
move on me.
How did I do
What?
that?
Clash? What was that?
Don't know.
Oh, that was some stupid thing that didn't help either of us.
Well, I think it's because I didn't have a time to react. I think if you'd pushed all the buttons, it would have done.
Oh, I don't know what it was prompting me to do. That's confusing.
Oh, well, you cheated there because you had the bigger guy.
The thing is, I realise now I'm straddling two camps uncomfortably of, it's just a button masher, and I don't want a complicated thing, so I can't have it both ways.
No. Control, expand, compare, equip current gear piece, continue. Okay. All right. Select new fighter.
I guess I'd like to look at how you actually do moves, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't really understand.
Find a
unless,
move
of course,
list.
we just stand and wait for stuff. Maybe that's in a menu. There is an options in the top corner. You can go through an options, so there is options.
Maybe that's worth looking at. Random select, no.
I can actually see what you're doing. Now that is interesting.
Yeah. I guess because if they've got different loadouts, I don't really understand what that means. Loadout 1, loadout 2. Maybe you can customize the move sets they have.
Okay.
Might bear a little bit of playing around with that. Dr. Fate, he's in the Black Adam film, so that would be a topical one, perhaps. Bane looks very different there. Scarecrow. Robin.
To try and
Firestorm.
hidden cursor, random select. No. Okay.
Aquaman, clean shaven. The comic version, not the movie version. Firestorm. I used to like the Firestorm comics.
Firestorm.
I'm sad enough to have enjoyed Firestorm.
Okay. Yeah, there's a countdown going on.
Woman. Fighters approaching.
That was a cheeky
I
little,
heard-
little.
I
flame
heard
on-
I heard a little. I don't know if you heard there. There was like a beep
yes, that makes sense.
in the
then.
background.
So we did get time
counting down.
probably.
Yeah. I mean, it makes sense because if you're in a sort of a lobby with someone who's like,
Messing about. Yeah,
messing
I
about,
get
then you
it.
kind of.
Okay, so what 2 moves can I learn from this character?
I don't know. I need to throw this shield. I need to get this rope round you and get you to tell the truth. That's what I need.
Of course, Wonder Woman created famously by the creator of the lie detector.
Oh, lovely.
His 2 great accomplishments: he created a bondage fetish character and a lie detecting machine.
There we go. Oh, I wanted to get. Oh,
remember his
okay.
name.
I can throw scenery at you. That's nice.
So that's kind of interesting that there's interactive stuff. Wonder Woman, it's just a death of 1,000 cuts. That's very tragic if I lose to just the minor attacks. Oh god. Okay, you've learned counters because it just told me you had done a counter.
Well, I don't quite know how I'm doing it, but I've kind of working it. I'm just getting lucky, I think. Oh, nice.
I don't know.
I
That
think
was
I've just
shoulder
got
buttons.
lucky. Yeah, I think they work on some characters. They do things.
Okay. So I'm trying to do like Street Fighter movements. What's that? Am I building something? I don't know what. Oh god.
No, I wasn't going to let you build that.
I don't think it was even doing anything, to be honest.
I just decided to walk over and have you.
Okay, he does have a projectile. I don't know how I
You
did
just
it.
beat me.
That was just the first of your energy bars. You are ahead of me because you've taken one of mine already. Ah, you're going to take me down. This would be really sad if you just do it with a little kneecapping. Yeah, I am going to have to find some kind of counter to this. Oh, you moved. Damn, you swine. No.
You weren't using those knees.
I'd like him to actually aim at you, not the floor.
No, that's what I was having a problem with the guy I was doing. I was kind of couldn't aim.
So we do
Couldn't
have a
aim with
time
the pistol.
limit. I'm dead. Nice.
Oh no, not yet.
No, they
Oh, yeah,
don't seem
okay.
to die. They, I guess that's so that they can realistically say there's another round. They get worn down, I suppose. Well done.
All right.
Is there a way of finding the moves? Maybe we'll do that in between. What do you think? One more for our first impressions and then go away and have a play around? Or have you had enough?
Well, I think that because I'm up by 1, I think we will end for 1 there.
Okay.
And
Well, I'll go to the main menu then.
all right. So for us, it will be some time while we dig in and work out what's what. But for you, we'll be back momentarily.
So, we've worn off the skin from our thumbs, playing a little bit more of Injustice 2. Mike, what's your overall thought now, having ruined your hands for every other game?
Well, I mean, it's not my hands necessarily I've ruined. Of course, the muscles for your fingers and your arms are actually in your lower arm, and they ached quite considerably. Yeah, it's a button masher, but it's a control button masher, and I think you said that while we were playing, that you feel a little bit more in control than perhaps with a lot of other fighting games that we have actually played. I still am button mashing, but I'm button mashing in a way that I kind of know what I'm doing. I don't know how to defend myself, but I know how to go on the attack, which is half of the battle. No pun intended. But then that's how you play as well. So there you go. It's
You only the game essentially you can get by knowing that triangle, square, and X are your attacks, and you can do some things with the shoulder buttons if you know what you're doing. So there is a tutorial. We did lament the fact that we didn't do that for our first part, because that was frustrating. That was, again, it always seems to be toss a coin and one of us will have a problem with the tutorial.
I rage
not letting us
quit
get through.
the tutorial. I didn't even get to the end of it. I didn't need to get to the end of it. I actually rage quit a tutorial because it was irritating, and it would have been, as I said to you when we were going through it, because we wanted to see see what the moves were, options. Yeah. And so therefore we both dropped into the tutorial after we recorded just to sort of have a look, and it would have been a very amusing part one, because I got quite sweary and shouty at it, but again, it just seemed to be that you had to be very, very specific with it, or get very lucky to move on to the next thing. Now, there was a skip. I did actually find a skip. Yeah. So you could actually skip. While I was trying to rage quit out, which wasn't as easy as it sounded. Again, push options. Funny how the options button was the answer to everything. There was an ability to skip that stage of the tutorial. So if you're actually paying attention, the tutorial's not awful. And to be honest, you don't need the tutorial anyway, I don't think. Though it does open up your eyes to a few other things. So maybe if you're going to play the campaign, it might be good, but then we just want to play online and fight each other. That's all we want to do.
I think the video tells the tale of how helpful the tutorial was to me, because you hammered the crap out of me in the first half, and then when I'd learned a few moves, then it really did help me get to grips with playing. But you see, when we reconvened with with a bit more knowledge under our belt, we were more interested in just saying, "Oh, let's see this character's finisher, and let's see this character's finisher."
Yeah.
So the competitiveness sort of melted away a little bit because we were just trying to open up extra things.
But also we played some different game modes, of the online game modes, and we quite liked the King of the Hill one, where winner stays on, and you can actually have a group of friends watching you play. And then that probably didn't actually check it, but that was probably also local as well. I can imagine that being local. No, you can't do it local. You just pass this what you control a local, don't you? Yeah. So, but the thing is, that was quite a useful mode. It wasn't good for us because there was only two of us, and it took us a bit of time and effort to work out what's the specialty here. And then, King of the Hill, as you said, you put the 50 pence on the. On the side, and I'm next. Yeah, winner stays on.
Winner, yeah.
So for any American listeners, 2 quarters. Anyway, carry on.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's
5 dimes.
It's fine. It is a fighting game. It feels like an arcade game. There are different game modes. There is a single player story, because obviously there is. You've got to find out why Superman's such a murderous piece of crap in this universe, and why Black Canary seems to think that Green Arrow is dead, even though he's definitely there, and we played as him. I'm not bothered.
Wasn't Superman murderous in the Lego one we played?
I don't know. Lego doesn't seem.
No. It was because of course they'd all been replaced by the alternates.
We were playing as villains.
Yes.
Yeah, in the Lego.
That's right.
DC game.
No. It just popped back. Again, we have played it on. Well, we have played it in the. It's in the season, so enjoy.
It seems to be DC's big problem is, and you said it is a problem in general, and I agree. Is that DC's big problem though is that they want to be known as, or they've gained a reputation as, the sort of dark storytellers of the comic book universes, and they lean heavily into it. So that's probably, and a lot of people are sort of bored or having a go at Marvel because they tell too many jokes. But you know what? At least I have a nice time, and I think I don't really want I don't want a sad, tragic Superman. Batman's the sad one. Let him be sad. Let everybody else be fine. And the Lego Batman movie is the best Batman movie.
That's the thing, isn't it? I mean, basically, your Batman is your grumpy teenager. I don't want to go out in the daytime. And Joker's like, I got to ruin everything. I mean, literally, DC does stand for dark characters. I mean, that is what it is.
That's what it feels like, and it has been for a long time. They've really leaned into it. So Injustice is, it's playable, it's competent. It was, to our first talking point, it's very playable, it's very replayable. Let's play another one.
I think you actually said, when we kept wanting to come back and play. Again, I think a lot of it is because we enjoy, each other's company, and I think that's got something to do with it. But I think something you said while we were playing is that it's one of the best fighting games I think we've played in a long time.
It's the one I've had the most fun with. I think it's maybe because maybe if these weren't the DC Comics characters, at least in name, I might not have that kind of connection, but that does go a long way to say, hey, this is Superman fighting Batman. All right, I'm listening. Playing as these characters gives you that hook, and then you think, I wonder what Harley Quinn's finishing move will be. I wonder if she's using a sledgehammer. I wonder what Green Lantern's finishing move will be. What will he do? So there is that draw, and it's one of my favourite fighting games that we've played as part of this, because it was kind of straightforward. As much as I was complaining in part one, I don't know what the buttons do. There's only 3 real buttons to worry about, and everything else is just flourish.
But I mean that takes us from playability to replayability as well. Yeah. Because we were talking about the finishing moves. We were like, "Hey, come on! You've built up your magic power. Push your shoulder buttons. Let's see what you're going to do." The problem is that doesn't replay necessarily. But some of their special moves are quite awful.
I was laughing my head off, especially at Aquaman's.
Well, no, I thought Catwoman had a great one where basically she rides the bike in, and then the bike becomes a bloody projectile, which is used against the thing. They're actually quite good. I mean, we haven't seen them all. No. I think you saw the Batman one in the tutorial. I never got there.
Batman's one is ridiculous. It's so ridiculous but funny. Amusement toward them.
The problem is though that it's funny, but it also isn't necessarily replayable. But then it doesn't need to be, because we're enjoying fighting against the characters. I would say they're all evenly matched. I think they all are, but there is some customization which we need to look into, which we haven't done, just because you have to play the story, I think, to unlock things. I haven't played the story, and you haven't played the story, so
I think one of DC's problems is that I don't think that they were supposed to be funny. I think they're supposed to be deadly serious, and you and I found it funny because it escalates things to such a ridiculous degree that you can't help but laugh when a giant, dinosaur fish appears from a whirlpool and devours your opponent. It is replayable, despite the novelty value wears off pretty quick. But underneath there, we're being quite unfair. Underneath it is a competent, easy to pick up fighting game.
It's a very competent, easy to pick up fighting game, and with a lot of fun. I mean, it's very similar to fighting games. It's very similar, like to Street Fighter and those kind of things. But I think it's more competent. I think it's a more polished fighting game, or it feels more polished to me. So I would say it's a fun fighting game. and it's definitely worth it, wouldn't you? Wouldn't you agree?
I think so, yeah. There's no hidden catches. I think this is the version that's got a load of the DLC, probably, or there are still characters to unlock.
Yeah, but again, I think you have to go through the campaign for that, and that's not something I was willing to do, which I suppose is a little bit of a strike against it, because for me, if it unlocked everything, there should be like do you want to play the campaign? No, I just want everything unlocked. Thanks.
I think
maybe that would, for a game that's 5 years old, that would be a nice option. Do you want to play the campaign again, or have you played the campaign before? Yes, I don't want to play it. Okay, unlock everything. Maybe that would have been a nice option.
But then that sets a precedent, and I think it's not a comment on the game as much as it's a comment on the games that you are interested in playing.
I suppose, but then that would make it more. It would open it up perhaps more to me to keep it more, because everything is unlocked. Whereas now, it's like, but then I suppose then you also you've unlocked everything, you've got everything. I just want everything. I want all the whistles and bells.
They'll never win, because if there's nothing to unlock, then people will go, well, there's no point in playing the campaign. And if you could just unlock everything, then it's sort of, I don't know, I can see both sides.
So quite a cheap game, a game that's 5 years old, a game that was €20, £20, $20, whatever currency it was in. So it was quite a cheap, one of the cheap games.
That surprised me when you said that, because I didn't look at the prices.
No, I always have a quick look at the prices to see which one is the high ticket game. And the two cheap ones this time were Injustice and the super hot, whatever the other one, the QuickTime one that I said in part one. But they were the cheap ones. I mean, that puts it in a price point where it actually, if you want a button mashing fighting game, I think this. And you like DC, I think this should probably be worth it, don't you?
I think
It'd
so.
Be worth the money, yeah.
Yeah, it would be. It's worth the money. If I was going to buy... I think in 2017, with the comics on the shelves, I think as I wasn't enticed by the comics because the storyline sort of turned me off. So I can't even say that as a comic fan that I would have gone, oh, lovely, I'd buy this, because I probably would have done if at the time I was interested. The storyline puts me off. If it had been this much in 2017, absolutely. It's definitely...
Oh, yeah.
The value
would have been a high ticket price though. It would have been an A game at least. They would have wanted at least 60 for it.
The value's there because games have sort of plateaued, I think, in that they don't look any better really now than they probably did in 2017. I think if somebody was making this now, I would be hard pressed to tell that it looked any different. I mean, is it worth... I'm skipping other talking points because I think we've covered everything that we normally talk about.
Oh, I think we have. I
briefly.
mean, basically, is it worth the download bandwidth and time? I mean, that's the basic question.
I think it is. I think it doesn't. I think it downloaded reasonably quickly. I didn't really notice. It doesn't. It's not offensive. It's good fun if you've got a friend to play with. I imagine the campaign. I will probably give the campaign a quick look. I want to see what unlocks. I'm more curious. That is the thing that they've got me, because I want to know who those little grid lines represent. So I might give that a look. It's not offensive to me, and I've had fun with it, and I can see myself playing it for a bit.
I don't think it's going to get wiped off my system immediately. I think I might have a drop into the campaign, but again, I might not. It depends on the time. Is it worth the download? Yes. Was it worth the time playing? Yes. At 20 euros, dollars, pounds, whatever, insert your currency here. Well, unless it's like, lira. Probably doesn't exist. Probably worth it, I would say.
It's worth it. If I was looking for a fighting game, I would probably go for it. Yeah.
And on that positive note, this is Mike Papa Foxtrot.
And this is 3T, and we were looking at Injustice 2 Legendary Edition, which was freeloadable from the PlayStation Network in October 2022.